Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of BS for Build. This should be an exciting one. Today, we are 100% focused on trying to get the engine to start. And we're not gonna just like let it kind of start. We're actually gonna try and start it, like fire it up, like internal combustion. That's the game plan. We're 100% focused on trying to make this happen. Cross your fingers and stay tuned. Okay, getting started, we got some work to do on our fuel cell. So Eric's gonna go ahead and pop out the fuel pump and the regulator, clean this thing off. I searched all over town to get some nice AN fittings to plug all the things that need to be plugged. So we're gonna plug it, we're gonna clean it. Eric's gonna install the new fuel pump and then bridge that with the regulator. While he's doing that, Oscar's joined us once again today, and Oscar's gonna jump outside and work on pulling some sort of a, what did we decide that was? Fuel pressure sensor?
Yes.
From the M5 that we're gonna run in line with our fuel line. And I'm gonna do the taxes. All right, Eric's got the fuel cell all buttoned up. That's totally ready to go back in the car. We got a 90-degree fitting that is on our fuel line actually that plugs right into here. It's like a snap-on fitting. So that's ready to go. So these guys are gonna move out the wiring, like kind of make room a little bit for the fuel cell. We're gonna put it in there. I'm gonna go get some gasoline. Oscar and I also, we kind of semi-installed our exhaust manifolds. We didn't do the gaskets because we have to pull these off later. So these are installed without gaskets. So it might sound like a bit of a tractor from all the exhaust leaks if we do get it to start up, but hey, won't be that bad. So yeah, they're gonna clean that up and get the fuel cell in there. I'm gonna go get some gasoline. All right, these guys got the fuel cell in there real quick. I ran down to the store, got some fuel. We're gonna pour about 4 gallons of premium in this thing and then turn the car on and see if it primes up all right. All right, it's time for the first start attempt. We got the fuel cell very precariously placed in there. We're gonna go ahead and attach power. We're gonna hit the power button. It should prime the thing up. And then we're gonna hit the start button and we're gonna see what happens. Eric, I read our fuel gauge. We have 131 miles. Hang on.
Really?
Yeah, it'll come back. All right, let's go ahead and power on. Okay. Do your thing. Okay, so as far as I know, that's the transmission. Yeah. I think it's upset. Okay. So I didn't hear the fuel pumps go. But look, we got a quarter tank. Why didn't it try and prime the fuel pump, man? Did it ever try and prime the fuel pump, or was it always just the transmission priming?
No, the fuel pumps were definitely buzzing before.
All right, I think this is the part where we just press the brake pedal and just try and start it.
Depressed.
Brake pedal's depressed. Okay, here we go. Nothing. Come on, car. I'm not hearing the fuel pumps prime at all, so I think that's our bigger issue. All right, we're into troubleshooting mode. We're gonna start troubleshooting things and see if we can figure anything out. All right guys, we're back for day 2. Last night's troubleshooting did not yield any results, so we're back at it again. We're bringing in a little bit more technology. We got this laptop with wiring diagrams, and then down here we have our Windows-based laptop that's going to be connecting into the OBD2 once we start to get a signal going back and forth, and this thing should help us actually narrow down some things, because if I can figure out how to use it the right way, it'll tell me what computer it's stuck at, so where the transmission signal the signal transmitting through the car gets stopped. Earlier today though, I was just checking fuses and I saw that we were missing a fuse right here, I believe, and that fuse on my wiring diagram is labeled OBD. So no wonder that are we missing one of these two? I'll double check on that. No wonder that we weren't getting OBD2 signal. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug that in and keep troubleshooting. I'll update you guys once I have something worthwhile to update on. All right, changing the fuses did not help. I haven't checked them to see if they blew in case we have a grounded circuit. I will do that in a second. But for right now, what we're doing is using the BMW diagnostic software. A viewer named Eric actually hit me up, contacted me, and said, jump on TeamViewer. We'll jump into the diagnostic software and troubleshoot through it together. So thanks, Eric. We're going to jump on this, and hopefully we'll get some good information out of it. I'm back for day 3. So yesterday we figured out a lot of good stuff, figured a lot of information. Basically the PT CAN system that controls the DME, the transmission, but the big thing is the DME. That's the ECU for the car. It's right here. The PT CAN bus is basically down. We can't communicate with it, and it's not communicating with itself. Eric was so kind to spend, I think it was between 4 and 5 hours with me on TeamViewer, helping me diagnose this stuff. And we've been running through it. After I did that though, I was noticing some irregularities with grounding and some other things like that. So I'm going to bring this thing all the way back to the basics. We're going to use a new battery with a different grounding cable, because this one has like some intelligent battery grounding cable thing that I don't trust anymore. Then I'm going to double check all the grounds across our band. Our band running around there was actually all looking good, but our battery ground was being sketchy. It was just being strange. And then I'm also going to just double check every single fuse before we start troubleshooting once again. I'm just looking at the very most basic things that sometimes, even the diagnostic computers have trouble troubleshooting because they shouldn't be broken. All right, guys, no idea if this is a breakthrough or not, but Eric was having me trace the PT CAN bus wires through the system. I noticed that they went into the seat plugs and thought, you know what, I should get the seats and plug them in. They have a huge computer underneath. I plugged them in and I turned the car on, and I'm pretty positive I heard the fuel pumps prime for the first time ever. So I'm gonna film this with you guys. This is what we do. We're checking to see if the car can read the DME. So we enter it in. Blah, blah, blah. Reading identification. DME! Haha! Yes! For the first time, we are reading the DME, which is equivalent, I believe, to the ECU. So we got an ECU in the car. Yes! Okay, so now I plug in the ABS, we plug back in the transmission, we plug a few things in, and we get to try and start it again. Yes! This is a huge breakthrough no matter what. Okay, guys, when we do an identification, we're reading all the modules. That's really good. When you have the doors open, because it thinks the doors are open, we have the neutral sign. That's also really good. I think this is gonna happen. I'm gonna jump in the car and try and start it. Now we have the age-old problem of if the car tries to start, it probably won't be too pretty, and then I gotta make it stop really fast. But at this point, I'm willing to just figure that out later. All right, we're on. Hear the fuel pumps priming up behind me. Transmission's doing its thing. The steering rack is reading steering input. Oh my good googly moogly, guys, I think it's gonna happen. I don't think I've ever been more nervous to start a car. Push the brake down. Interesting. That was a little bit anticlimactic. We're super close though. It's making a clacking sound. I don't know what that is. I think that might be the starter trying to do stuff, but it's not working. All right, well, we're back to work troubleshooting. We're running engine diagnostics right now to try and figure out why it's not starting, but we'll just keep trucking away. All right, a couple more hours of troubleshooting and we had another breakthrough. So I started thinking about the starter and that cable that runs all the way to the back and has an explosive charge on it. And I was thinking, okay, like, what did that do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I came to the realization that this thing that I thought was a grounding wire for the engine is not. This is the positive wire for the starter. So if I take this off, the car may start, but what this needs to be connected to is a solid positive lead. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is jump outside to the M5. I'm gonna rip that wire that goes from the trunk underneath the car and up to the engine bay. I'm gonna rip that whole thing out and I'm gonna bring it over here and I'm gonna install it the same way. All right, I only had to dig into that car for a few seconds before I realized that was a waste of time. And we can run a jumper cable from here to the front and it'll emulate the same thing because we're not gonna use the stock BMW wire for that job anyways. We will build our own because it'll look a lot better. So here we go, jumpering the starter to the hot lead. All right, moment of truth. We're jumped up to the starter. It's been 3 days in the works. Let's see if we can make this thing start. Get ready, guys. On. We're primed. Oh, I forgot to connect the battery thing. I forgot to connect the new starter light cable. I'm so nervous right now. Let's go. It's coming to life. Our battery's dead because we've been tuning on it all day. I mean, that's what it is. It'll work. It'll work. All right, I replaced the battery in the back. We were using a new battery that's small, not made for BMW, and I replaced it with the big old BMW battery. So we should have more cranking power. I'm gonna make sure we have more surface area on that positive lead, and we're gonna try it again. This is gonna work. Here we go. Come on, baby. I heard a pop. I heard combustion. I'm gonna add more power. Jeremy Clarkson this thing. More power. Added more power. Eric from Norway is going to read the codes again. They're all in German, so I have no idea what they say, but he will let me know, and then we're gonna try it again. We're reading an error that says that the fuel pressure valve is below threshold. That could be a problem. We could not have enough fuel pressure. That could be why it's not starting. The fuel pressure regulator valve thing could be installed upside down. Could be a lot of things going on. It's a long day. Well, I'll be. There ain't no gas in the lines. Don't know why there's no gas in the lines. That's the next fun thing to find out. So the fuel pump is priming. I can hear it prime up, but no fuel is coming across into the other side and out our fuel line. So something is wrong there. I'm assuming it's in the connection between the fuel pumps that are in that side and whatever fuel filter thingamabob is on this side. So I got to take the fuel system out of the car, unplug it, disassemble it, try and see what's wrong. Some of you guys with janky fuel systems may know what's going on here. Our pickup on the inside is not quite at the bottom. This happens to be like actually a really large fuel cell, so the 4 gallons that I put in it didn't really even make a dent. I think it's at least 12 if not 16 gallon fuel cell. So we're at quarter tank, maybe a third tank. And the pickup is not at the bottom, something that we are planning on changing, and we were planning on changing, but so anyways, since it's not quite at the bottom, I think what was happening is the pump was trying to pull fuel. It wasn't seeing any fuel, it wasn't seeing anything happen, and then it stopped. At least I'm hoping that's what happened. So next step, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the car back on, and then it's gonna get kind of weird because I have this line still disconnected from the engine because I'm not gonna know if it's working or not. So it's gonna spray fuel on the ground. It's okay, this is a no smoking section. All right, power twice. Pump should prime. That's the transmission that you're hearing there. There we go. It's it shot a little bit of fuel out. It did a little primey thing and it shot a little bit of fuel out. I don't know if that means if I connect it now that it'll work. I guess we just have to try. I do believe it is once again that time. Come on, baby. Come on. Yeah! We got a fuel line that's a little upset. Other than that, things are pretty good. Let me tighten this thing down. I can confidently say we got a lot more fuel pressure. A lot more. All right, we don't have any coolant in this car, so there's no water pump, and the power steering pump are both running dry. Relatively dry, so I'm not going to run this for very long. But we shall hear this roar. I shut that off for the record. So we have a misfire, we know that, that's expected. That's probably why it was rumbling a little rough. But we did it! The car runs! Oh man, what a relief. That is a big weight off my shoulders. And I just think that this is another example. This really goes to show how awesome the automotive community and the people in it truly are. I went all in on the automotive community like 3 or 4 years ago, working on cars and meeting people. Then that eventually led me to people like Eric, who were kind enough. He probably spent 10, 12 hours out in Norway in the middle of the night helping me through screen sharing, diagnose this car and helping me work through some of the foibles and to figure these different things out. And while that was happening, we had constant comments and emails from different people also helping troubleshoot, and that led us to be able to start the car. So this is in no way just me. Huge thanks so much to Eric. And it's definitely a sum of something much bigger, which is just a sign that it's such a cool community. If you're looking for new friends, I highly suggest it. So that's it. We got the car to start. Today I think is about the 20th, meaning we have 10 more days to focus on the engine and the fabrication side of things. It's going to be a really interesting, probably, hopefully very fast and very productive next 10 days. You know, we're looking at mounting our radiator, mounting our brake booster, mounting our brakes, running brake lines, finishing off that steering wheel, and we should be able to steer and drive and stop and all sorts of fun, crazy things. Oh, build exhaust. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be so crazy, but the race for SEMA is on. 10 more days to focus on engine stuff and then 25 days of focusing on body work. But this is definitely a milestone. Thank you guys so much. If you want to help out and support the channel, head over to bsforbuild.com. Picking up any of the merchandise there all goes directly towards supporting these builds. And if you want to find us in more places and stay up to date, follow us on Instagram. We are bsforbuild on Instagram. Thank you guys all so much for watching. It's been a fun 3 days. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace!